previously at GPM. Well, we're going to make another corny video today.
Oh, you want to just do it as a...
Well, now we've done it. We burnt out the gasket, and obviously it's leaking from the rear of the egg. So we're going to have to change the gasket, and we'll take you through how to do that. Hi folks, I'm Barry from GPM Pool and Spa. And today we're going to do a little surgery on the big green egg. It's time to replace the gasket on this one. This is our burn unit, and we cook on it every Saturday out in front of the store, and the time has come to replace it. So we're going to take it apart, and we thought we'd show you how to do that while we were at it. The easiest way to do it is to loosen your band and remove the dome from the base of the egg so that it's easy to work on. I've done it with the lid on, but it's a little tougher. So we're going to take this one off. I've already loosened the nuts on the bands holding the egg together for time's sake, and we're going to be able to lift this off pretty easily. But before we do that, this is going to make it easier to get back on, and this is a spring-loaded hinge. So we're just going to take a Loctite and put it through here, and we want to hold the spring in the compressed position. Now one of these is enough, but that's what we want to do. And now this won't spring and flip to the open position, thereby knocking your teeth out. So it's time for the surgery. Let's remove the dome. I'm just going to take this and set it to the side for now. And look, it's a boy. Okay, all kidding aside. Let's set this off to the side, and now we'll just lift this whole assembly right out of here, and spring stays compressed. Store this away under here, and now the first stage of this is to get the old gasket off. And we found various tools are available. You can use a paint scraper. We like a sharp razor blade, and we're just going to go around the edge of this and start scraping that old gasket off. Blade would help. There we go. Okay, now in order to help us along, the use of a solvent is going to speed this up a bit. It'll tack up, it'll loosen up old glue and grease and parts of the old gasket. Okay, and then we'll just pick up our razor blade again, and you see how much that loosens it up. Well, we can almost get down to the original ceramic surface. Yeah, there comes some nice stuff off. Okay, so we've cleaned it off with the solvent. You can repeat that as many times as necessary to get as much of the old stuff off as you can, because the idea is to get the glue to stick, and grease and glue don't like each other and it's not going to work well. So we've done that. That's about as far as I'm going to go with this. And then just to top it off, it's a good idea. You take a coarse grit sandpaper on a block, and you can just go around and you can knock any residual gunkiness or ickiness that might be on there. Okay. It feels nice and smooth, and I detect no stickiness. So we're going to proceed. You're going to use the same process on the other side. So we're going to just flip this over, clean that, and then we'll be ready to put the gasket on. Okay, so we've cleaned the surfaces of both parts of the egg, and now it's time to talk about the gaskets. We have two options. The standard original replacement gasket is a felt gasket, works quite well, and it's got a self-stick tape or double back tape to it. So you just peel this off and put that on. But today we're going to use the new, recommended by Big Green Egg themselves, high temp gasket. This is thicker, it's more durable. I have it on mine and I really like it. The difference is that with this you have to use a spray adhesive, and BGE and us recommend 3M Super 77. Works great, and so that's the spray adhesive we're going to use today. Now, just to prepare the surface a little bit, and to protect my table and egg from overspray, I'm just going to take this piece of cardboard that I prepared earlier. Just wrap this around the outside. And then if I only had a round piece, why thank you, Ray, for the inside, you just put this in here like this, and that'll take care of the overspray. So, I'm going to take this little piece of tape off it, Now you're going to have extra. There's enough here to do the top and the bottom. And the most important thing about putting this on is not to stretch it. So we'll just take our spray adhesive and just hit it right around the edge here like this. And now what you want to do with the gasket is, I like to start on the side, and when I do the top, I'm going to stagger the seam so it's on the other side of the egg. When you put this on, remember, do not stretch, and don't let any of the gasket surface overhang into the egg so it can burn up. So we're just going to leave a little space, kind of go right on the edge, smallest amount, 1/16 of an inch maybe. And without stretching, I'm just going to slowly go around. That's really all there is to it. We're going to trim this and leave ever so little bit overhang and then compress it back into the hole. I'm just kind of just move this back. Maybe I'll trim that up a little bit later. But that's the general idea. Now we're going to do the top. We've done the top and duplicated our efforts same way we did the bottom. So that's done and it's prepared. I've staggered the seams so that this one's on this side and this one, when I flip it over, will be on the opposing side. And so what we're going to do now is put the egg back together again. Got the band with the spring assembly and the Loctite in it. So we're just going to That's good. Now after you tighten this up, we're going to check the hinge at the rear and make sure there's no air leaks, which is the primary reason for burning the gasket out to begin with. But for now, I'm just going to tighten these bands back up. Just kind of try to center it all the way around. Okay, we put it back together and try to get the band, the upper band, kind of high up on the rim. But you're going to do the dollar bill test. I've placed a $20 bill in it previously. If there's air draft, you have oxygen able to go through there, reduces the moisture, allows the flame to go through, so you don't want oxygen, and it makes it harder to control the temperature. So checking for air gaps is important. We don't want any. This is pretty stiff. You see how I'm doing this and it doesn't come out of there? And you're eventually going to check it all around. But generally there's never a leak in the front because the weight of the dome itself creates the seal. I'm just going to tighten the rest of this up, bend the bolts as usual, get it nice and tight, and then let's check it out. This is how much gasket material I have left over. So once again, don't worry about running out or stretching it. Stretching it is the worst thing, because if it starts to shrink, you're going to get an air gap where you made the seam. We've cut the Loctite off so that the hinge isn't held closed anymore. Our handy razor blade. And now we're just going to open it up, and it certainly looks good. I detect my $20 bill has fallen away, but as you go around, as I say, there's a little air gap there. We're going to readjust this as we go around. We want to make sure that we feel a bit of drag all the way around the egg, and then your gasket will last you for many years. And so that's about it, folks. We're going to let this set. We're not going to cook on the big green egg for another 24 hours, unfortunately, because we want to let the glue dry. But that's the whole procedure. Glad you joined us. I'm Barry from GPM Pool and Spa, and we'll see you next time, folks.